Hello, friends, and welcome to Miss Debbie's Storybook STEM, where we find a little bit of science in every book we read. Before we get started with our STEM lesson, let's sing our hello song. Here goes. It's time to wave our hands and say hello, hello. It's time to wave our hands and say hello, hello. I'm so happy that you are here. Are you ready to have some fun? Let's smile and wave our hands and say hello. Hello, friends, and welcome again to Miss Debbie's Storybook STEM class. Today, we are going to be reading a book about a fox and a duck. And we are going to be looking at the pictures in this book and listening to the words of this book so that we can make a prediction about what is going to happen. Prediction! Did you hear that word? That's a scientific word of the day. Miss Debbie wants you to stand up on 2 feet and get ready to shout the word prediction on the count of 3. And I want you to jump up at the same time. Are we ready? 1, 2, 3. Prediction! Very good. Prediction is our scientific word of the day. What is a prediction? That's a long, tricky word. Prediction. Let's see. Sometimes when we listen to the news in the wintertime, you can hear the weatherman predicting how much snow we're going to get or how much rain we're going to get or predicting a big storm that's coming. What do we think predicting means? It's a good guess. That's all it is. We're going to guess what's going to happen. So in our storybook, we're going to guess what's going to happen in the story by looking at the pages of the book and looking at the pictures and listening to the words. Are you ready? Let's go. We're back and we're ready to read our story. The title of our story today is called That Is Not a Good Idea. And it is written by Mo Willems. That is not a good idea. Let's look at the front cover of the book. Let's see if there are any clues or anything that we can look at in the picture that would give us an idea of what might happen. Let's see. There's a fox and there's a duck. And it looks like the fox is trying to give the duck a flower. You don't see that every day. What do we know about foxes? Are foxes really nice and sweet to ducks? I don't think they are. I think foxes are rather sneaky. And do you look at that grin on his face? It's a real sneaky grin. I don't know if a fox would really give a duck a flower. The duck doesn't look afraid, does he? So, why don't we see if we can make a prediction of what we think might happen in our heads before Miss Debbie starts the story. That is not a good idea. So that means it's not a good idea, whatever's going to happen in the book. So let's get started. That is not a good idea. They see each other in the street. See how they're making eye contact? Look at how excited the fox looks to see the duck. And the duck looks surprised. But the duck doesn't look scared. No. So we're looking for clues. Let's see what happens next. What luck! Dinner! Oh, we don't know who's saying this. So we have to just imagine who's saying this. We're thinking, we're using our brains, and we're thinking in our brains what could be happening in this story. Excuse me, would you care to go for a stroll? Do you see the way the fox is looking at the duck with his sneaky smile? And the duck looks really shy and bashful. Let's see what's going to happen on the next page. Sure, says the duck. Wow, I'm surprised the duck wants to go for a walk with a sneaky fox. That is not a good idea, says the baby chick. He knows something we don't know. Would you care to continue our walk into the deep, dark woods? Oh, I don't know if that's such a good idea. Sounds fun. Are you surprised? Miss Debbie's surprised. That's a very brave duck. That is really not a good idea, says the baby chick. Would you care to visit my nearby kitchen? Oh boy. Why would a fox ask a duck to go to his kitchen? What do we do in a kitchen? Do we cook? I would love to, says the baby chick. That is really, really not a good idea. No, they know something that we don't know. Would you care to boil some water for soup? Oh no. I'm getting scared. Do you see the look on that fox's face? Do you see his sneaky smile? That duck does not look afraid of that fox. Certainly, I love soup, said the duck. Wow, I wonder what's gonna happen next. Oh look, the duck's even licking her beak. Oh boy, do you do that when something looks good? Do you say, that is really, really, really not a good idea. Boy, they're trying to tell us something. Look at, they're in such a tizzy, jumping up and down and yelling. Would you care to look at my soup? A key ingredient is missing. Oh boy. I don't know if that's the right thing to do. Be careful, little duck. That is really, 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 really not a good idea. Oh no. They know something we don't know. Oh, a key ingredient is missing. And it's you, said the duck. Oh no. Look at that, the duck threw the fox into the hot boiling pot of water. Splash! Oh my! Well, we did try to warn him. They were trying to tell us something. The end. More soup, children? Well, that did not turn out the way I thought it was going to turn out. Were you surprised with what happened? Miss Debbie was very surprised. I predicted that the fox was going to eat the duck, not the duck eating the fox. So that is our story, and now we are going to do some activities with predictions in just a minute. So now it's time for the activity portion of our STEM lesson. And we are going to make some predictions with pumpkins. If you don't have some leftover pumpkins from Halloween, anything round will do. You could find a nice apple that you could use for our lesson, or a basketball, a tennis ball, anything round that you have around the house that would be perfect for this lesson if you don't have a pumpkin. So the first thing we are going to be doing is predicting how tall our pumpkin is. Now, when we say how tall something is, that means we're measuring the height from the top to the bottom to see how tall something is. Now, when we measure something, we can use a standard form of measurement, which is a ruler. If you can see that there are numbers on here, it's a little bit clear and hard to see, but it starts with 1 and it goes all the way up to 12. And this is a measurement of inches. It shows us how many inches tall this pumpkin is. If you don't have a ruler, measuring tape would be great too, and that measures inches as well and starts with 1. If you don't have either of those, what you could do is use a non-standard measurement. And this is a string, maybe some cars. You can see how many cars tall your pumpkin is. Instead of inches, you could see how many cubes tall your pumpkin is. If you have Legos, you could use Legos. Anything in your house that you have a lot of matching pieces where they're all the same size, you could use those to measure your pumpkin. So the first thing we are going to do is look at our pumpkin and guess to see how many inches tall the pumpkin is. Now I have 2 pumpkins here, so I am going to guess my first pumpkin, my big pumpkin, and I am going to say that maybe this pumpkin is about, maybe it's about 7 inches tall. So what we're going to do is take the number 0 and put it at the bottom of our pumpkin and put this flat up against the pumpkin. And then when we get to the top of our pumpkin, which is here, Miss Debbie's going to put her hand across, and with the help of an adult or a brother or sister, if you can't see the number, they can tell you what the number is that your finger has landed on. Miss Debbie's going to pinch it right here and flip it over, and it's a 9. So I predicted it was 7 inches, but it's actually 9. So if you don't have a ruler, we can do cars. So Miss Debbie is going to guess. Look at the size of my cars. That's a lot bigger than 1 inch. 1 inch is about this big. So I am going to predict that since it was 11 inches high, or was it 9? 9 inches high. I'm going to predict that maybe it's about 4 cars high. And to do that, you can't really hold all of your cars on top of each other without them falling. So this is a really nifty idea. Miss Debbie is going to, Miss Debbie is going to measure this up against my ruler because I don't have anyone to help me. Otherwise, if you have someone to help you do this, there we go. So right here, that's exactly how tall my pumpkin is. And I guessed 4 cars. So Miss Debbie is going to lie this down, and I'm going to put my cars alongside the string, starting on one end. That's 1, 2, 3. That's about 3 cars high. So Miss Debbie was close. I predicted 4, but it actually was 3 when I made the observation. So you can use anything to measure your pumpkin's height. Next, we are going to measure something called circumference. And circumference is measuring how many inches around the pumpkin is. So the same thing, but can we use a ruler to measure how many inches around? No, we can't always use the same type of measurement tool that we use for some things that we're going to use for others. This doesn't bend all the way around my pumpkin. So I have two options. I could use my measuring tape, which goes around my pumpkin like so. Or what I can do is guess how long of a string is going to go around my pumpkin. So I could first just cut out a string and say, I think it's going to be about that much. So I'm guessing that that is my circumference of my pumpkin. Let's see if Miss Debbie was right. So we're going to put the string right here in the pumpkin and go all the way around the fattest part of the pumpkin until we get to where it started. I'm going to hold it down tight there. And oh, I was close. Miss Debbie predicted that my pumpkin was going to be this wide. The circumference was going to be this long, but I was off by a little bit. So that's actually how long it is. So I could also do that with my measuring tape and guess how many inches I think it's going to be. And I'm going to guess maybe 15. Let's see if it's 15 inches. So Miss Debbie's going to start with the 0 and hold it down on the fattest part of my pumpkin. And then I am going to wrap it around. Just like so. And see where I landed. Oh boy, Miss Debbie was so wrong on that prediction. I said 15 inches. It was 32 inches. 32 inches. So we could record that on our chart if you'd like as well. Now, we are also going to predict how many stripes there are or lines there are on the pumpkin. Can you see all these lines on Miss Debbie's pumpkin? There's lots of lines on your pumpkin too, if you're using a pumpkin. So you can predict how many lines you think are on your pumpkin just by looking real quickly, not by counting. You're going to be guessing, and then you're going to actually count to see how many there are. Last but not least, we're going to weigh our pumpkin. That's another form of measurement to see how much something weighs. So we are going to Miss Debbie has a little kitchen scale here. If you don't have a kitchen scale and you have a bathroom scale, that would work great too. So I have my scale here and I am going to guess, let's see, how much should I guess? How many pounds do you think my pumpkin weighs? Okay, let's see if you're right. Miss Debbie is going to guess that it is about 6 pounds. Okay. So I'm going to put it on my scale here. And I'm going to check to see how... Whoa, Miss Debbie was so wrong again. 10 pounds. This pumpkin is 10 pounds. So I made a prediction. It wasn't right. Then I observed what it actually was with my scale. And I measured how heavy my pumpkin was. Thank you so much for joining me today. I had so much fun with you. And I hope you had fun too. Before we say goodbye, let's sing our goodbye song. Here goes. It's time to wave our hands and say goodbye. Goodbye. It's time to wave our hands and say goodbye. Goodbye. We've had lots of fun, my friends, and we'll do it all again. It's time to wave our hands and say goodbye. Goodbye, friends. Until we see each other again next week, stay happy and healthy. Bye.